This should be fun. I'm really ready to go. It's Weibo versus BLG. Singing to myself before we even get into a series. Always a fun thing to do. How's it going, guys? I'm freezing cold. We've got a best of 5 series that goes all the way to 5. I'm also going to get a little bit more comfortable as I'm knocking things off. There we go. Pick that one up. There we go. So yeah, I'm freezing cold. So I'm wearing a nice blanket. But yeah. Everyone's at home today, so it's going to be noisy as all hell inside my house. So apologies if you hear things. I'm also going to just quickly do a couple things just so that we're in a good place. So, how's it going? It's your boy. There we go. Get the nice Pokemon music in. As typically, having a bit of music makes this a little nicer for people. Today, we've got Weibo versus BLG in the best of 5. 2 LPL teams clashing on the Rift. And you know, I'm really looking forward to this series. So, like normal, we're covering 3 games out of the 5. We'll start with game 1, work our way to game 3, and then to the last game in game 5. That'll be the way we attack this. Game 3 does look very spicy because I have it open on GOL right now. But yeah, let me get into the draft screen because I'm so unprepared in that regard. Bang, bang. This is my one issue with Opera GX as a browser. There's no real clippage. It's like really hard to put a tab into a new tab, like into a new window, I should say. But I'm ready. Let's go. Game number 1 of the best of 5. I should go to this one and not the other. Bang, move myself centrally. Because for some reason I've set this clip up so incredibly badly that my position is never central in the crop cam. But yeah, let's go. Game number 1. BLG and Weibo. We preface this matchup with awkward mid laners kind of underperforming for both sides, whereas their top lane have been both their strongest parts of the matchup. Now, typically speaking, I will love to see how either side plays it out and how they target each other. As BLG already starting to remove mid lane bans, that kind of, if they don't ban Azir, leaves open a lot of big picks, but obviously this is kind of hinting that maybe Yagao doesn't have these control mage picks in his arsenal for this World Championship. As Weibo removed the Jax, Bin's not going to get his hands on his power pick. Jarvan, Rakan, the last 2 bans from Weibo. Kalista and Caitlyn removed by BLG. I think we may see a pivot to topside matchup. Aatrox has been a pick that both players have been very open to playing here, but with Nico left up and available, that's first pick by Weibo. I feel like BLG should pick Xayah here first rotation alongside Maokai. That would be my optimal lock-in here for BLG, as it would just allow them to get a lot of control. They're instead going to the Vi, so they're looking to isolate off the ADC. If they don't take Xayah here, BLG, then that's kind of a a misstep in my opinion, because you are giving then over to Weibo to light a ADC that can just negate the Vi. This makes so much sense if they take this now, as you've got a single isolation bot lane and jungle combination that just negates any Weibo possibilities to outplay it. Now sure, you could get an amazing Pot Blossom off, but if the Vi buffers her ultimate correctly with the Nico ultimate, then chances are there'll be a pretty good engage out from BLG here. Now Weibo, they've got options in that top lane matchup. Deshai could go with the aggressive first pick. He is going to, the Rumble coming through. But yeah, you think a lot of these players are seasoned veterans of their respective teams. Weibo have such good authority and very strong players that I'm actually amazed we're getting a double control mage mid lane before we continue with my ramblings of the teams. So the reason I'm amazed it's control mages is both these players have kind of been looking and opting into the more melee-centric matchups. The Silases, the Yones. I was expecting to be on both sides, like, more prioritative than these control mages, but they're going to come through for either side. You fellas, the 200 years pick comes through. It's kind of risen in priority at this World Championship as it's gone on, as the likes of the Sivers, the Kaisers have kind of fallen off, as Aphelios kind of has taken its place as one of the premier ADCs once again. Now, as the draft continues through, we've got the Nautilus banned out. Obviously, would have paired well with the Vi, as you can unleash a full combination onto a singular target and burst them out. That is no longer available. BLG remove out the Renata. Kind of surprised that's gone through for them, as well as the Wukong. There's still obviously the option of the Maokai, and I would honestly like that paired alongside the Nico. And Weibo probably will look for it. Obviously, Weiwei, known for a more aggressive style of play. Maokai, a little bit out of that wheelhouse, but obviously very, very strong in terms of the amount of burn damage, the tick damage he can do. And that would be my expectations for how Weibo round out their draft. They've also got to lock in their support, which hasn't been shown yet by BLG, so they're counter-picking that one. BLG locking the Aatrox into the second phase as Belveth comes in for Weiwei. That's an interesting pick because you've got a lot of AP. Go with the more aggressive AD jungler that has the infinite scaling route. Pair it alongside this Milio now so that any form of combat from this Vi coming through can just be CC cleansed by Milio. That's a huge thing. This Weibo draft is very teamfight friendly. Now, granted, there isn't that much CC. In fact, you're kind of relying on the Gravitum, Moonlight Vigil, the W out from the Belveth, and then the Nico's E and Pop Blossom to get the CC chains down for the team. The thing, though, about Weibo's comp is, if they manage to lock you down with the CC from Nico, you're getting burnt to a crisp by that Rumble. And then the Aphelios can just rain in damage, probably with red-white, which should signal do not fight. As for BLG, a very standardized team fighting comp. They've got safety with Desire. You've got full burst potential out from the Syndra. You've got the sustained fight from the Aatrox. And then the hard engage from the Rel and the Vi. As a whole, their comp does signify a little bit better, a little bit more so drawn out team fighting comparative to what Weibo have, who more so want to land a full combination of burst onto you. But as it stands, I'd say this game draft looks fairly even in terms of the nature of the goals they want to do. If BLG are able to snowball, if Weibo are able to snowball with their draft, chances are team fighting will not be close as the game goes on. But as we get on to the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5 series, we're going to be focusing in on the top lane. We're going to ignore mid for this game 1. It's inconsequential to do that looking on there. Yagaund and Xiaohu both gone for these control mages, so they're not really looking for heavy trades early. They're looking to just scale up and be menaces past level 6. Nico obviously very, very strong in late game fights, so she's able to get a massive ultimate. But as it stands, I think early game should see a lot of attention topside. The Rumble should be bringing people up to him, and already I'm starting to notice the early plays coming out from Weibo. They're going over a ward, but it's the traditional Belveth level 1 Raptors play. However, BLG, fully awares of it, they've brought 4 members up, and will they catch him out? The Flame Spinner's coming out from the Rumble as the Crashdown lands. Q2 and 3 landing from Aatrox. This should be almost certainly a dead Shy who's forced to flash away early. That's actually quite a lot of summoner investments out from both teams, as all of the Shies are used there, as well as the flash and smite and an ignite out from BLG. There's quite a bit invested to try and kill the Shy there, which overall is worthwhile for Weibo, as smite invested there means that the clear rate of this fight can be slightly hindered. Obviously, she'll get another one up quite soon, but as a whole, this start for Weibo, while the Shy gets punished early and isn't running actually TP, so he's going to have to run it back quite quick. So topside going to be in favor of Bin once again. It's still beneficial to Weibo in a sense that the possibilities of a gank on the top lane, as well as anywhere on the map, is a little bit easier for this Belveth, who, let's be honest, wants to just hit level 6, get her passive upgrade, so that this Rift Herald at 8 minutes will be a big beneficial play for Weibo. Obviously, you get the Void Remora when she ults after the kill. So yeah, you know, it's a big, powerful thing that typically Belveths try to just scale up, hit level 6 before 8 minutes, which is not a hard thing to do, let's be honest. But it does typically mean that they're more so reliant on just farming up, as well as stealing camps. So it makes possible plays a little bit harder as the W comes out from Belveth, able to slink away with her dashes. There's Chris protecting his bot laner. This as a whole is kind of a weird place to be, as I should probably put this quality up a little bit more. But yeah, as it stands, we're getting into the standard trade patterns of the game. The Rumble gonna constantly be flame spittering down Bin. Now that he took his reset, he wasn't able to buy anything off of it, which is kind of surprising, to be honest. But the Shy has got the extra damage as bot side. It's just an easier sustainable lane for Weibo. They've got the Cozy Campfire, they've got the Severum out from Aphelios. So they're, realistically speaking, looking very, very safe in terms of securing push. And I'm noticing, looking at the summoners out from this bot lane for Weibo, it's cleanse and heal. You don't typically see both defensive summoners out from a bot lane. Typically, you usually see an ignite on the support, as realistically speaking, your goal is to kind of negate the healing possibilities out from the ADC, as bot side there's going to be a crash down landing onto this Milio, who's going to die for first blood. That's a huge amount of damage put down onto him, as We've got Light trying to trade back into this play. Not able to get anything down for himself. And that's first blood over to BLG. The bad bit of it is the Ignite took away a kill, I believe. We were just talking about that. Summoner kind of funny, to say the least, that Rel gets that one on. Obviously, very, very kill hungry as a support player. He's one of the few players that I know that we've watched that goes for kills, goes very aggressive, and tries to trade aggressively whenever he can. And this is just an example of it. Flash, Q, into Crashdown, the guaranteed CC chain when the Vi lands, allows for the full combination to burst through his health bar. Obviously, it's unfortunate the Ignite picked up the kill. However, it did look very, very, what I would call scary after the Milio went down, because Light was still standing. He had a lot of power left, and in fact, he wasn't forced to burn any of his summoners. Only On was, and that's kind of the big benefit for Weibo is, well, sure, your support dies, and you kind of have to give up pressure for a few seconds while Milio returns back to lane. You are, however, in a better position if you're Light because you get solo XP. So you're able to get up levels a little bit quicker. And the big thing was On did not, well, he went back to base comparative to Elk, who is actually full health and full healing. I'm presuming both ADCs just took a full reset, to be honest. I wasn't paying that much attention to that. But Weiwei, level 5, is closing in on level 6. Skullcrab will help in that regard, as bot side On just trading aggressive once again. Forced to crash down out though, as Scuttle secured by Weiwei. Almost was a contest out from Shun, but level 6 on the horizon for this Belveth. Gonna hit it after the cannon minion lands. That's gonna force Weibo up to the top side map with Herald spawning in 30 seconds. This is a beneficial play for them to control this top half of the map, get the Void Mortar, get the upgrade on this Belveth in terms of damage, and Shun is going to be none the wiser as the trade pattern comes through. This is going to be a very aggressive Belveth, level 6 to level 5, and just chunks out the Vi. That means that there's no place in the top side for Shun, who is now going to have to watch his top laner feel the pressure of the Rumble, who's losing CS under this tower. And that's huge, because top lane push allows for Weibo to collapse quicker towards this Herald that is probably on the horizon for Weibo. Once we see Weiwei go for it, he's obviously stealing away so many camps in the top side of the map. Now, respectfully, I'd expect the Vi to go just take Drake here, as while it's not the most ideal thing to be taking, it's not a place you want to be as that top side, because there's so much more damage on this Belveth at level 6. She's going to be easily trading in and doing a little bit more work comparative to you. You're also not able to match this Rumble, who is just able to constantly burn through the health bar of this Aatrox. So it's just going to be an objective trade that BLG kind of are happy about, because they kind of want to, while I say match the scaling that BLG, Weibo have, they do kind of want to just play it slow, play it a bit more defensive, and have the Sire and Syndra hit their breakpoints, so that realistically speaking, they can teamfight around this third Drake when it spawns, and kind of have Weibo in a bad situation, as this is huge from Crisp, denying the camps out of the jungle in the bottom half of the map, so that essentially Shun isn't able to catch up on CS. Already down just under 30 CS is a huge number to be behind at this stage of the game. And with now The Belveth probably looking to get more into the lanes, be more active with the level 6, with the upgrade. You kind of have to expect that maybe this first Herald play will be coming quite soon. Obviously, the timeout on this Belveth ultimate is about 2 minutes, I believe. So, as a whole, you probably will see a full clear into Herald, which may come down around when the Drake spawns. That may be the ideal play to kind of crash open some things. Or there's just a hard force in the top lane from the Rumble and the Aatrox trading. That could be a possible outcome for either team. I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched this game yet, so this is the first time I'm watching it. So, if that's the actual outcome, I'm going to be totally buzzing. But yeah, as it stands, things fairly expected. Obviously, Rumble out CSing the Aatrox. Kind of the no-brainer there. Possibilities of 2v2 shaping up as Wei gonna force the gank. The W comes through in a second. It's gonna miss. So that means the Aatrox is able to get away, but the equalizer dropped down. Secures the kill for the Shy. I thought if Wei missing out on the W, he was trying to time that a little bit more than expected. But here's the fun thing. Top lane control allows for Weibo. I keep messing that name up. It allows for Weibo to essentially get the minions in. They don't have to force the Herald yet. They've still got a couple more minutes before the turret plates fall. And the fact that this tier 1 in the top lane is already incredibly low. It'll just take some extreme trading patterns as Scatter Weak lands in the mid lane. But yeah, it should take a couple of trade patterns out from the Shy to kind of pick that one up for himself. He took a full reset there, which is kind of the smart thing to do, as Syndra spotted out by Nico Clone as the cease and desist comes through from the Vi. They've caught out the Belveth, who is somehow still alive, dashing to safety. The Blast Cone pushes her so far away. BLG, they go aggressive, but are unable to pick up a kill. And now Weibo chasing, hunting Yagao. They want to get on him as the Flame Spitter burns through the health bars. It's a double kill to the Shy as his Rumble is online and looking to get more and more fed. This is a huge play that, honestly, it was looking dire at first. I thought that Wei would have fallen there, but he somehow survives. The Ignite was not enough out from on to secure the kill, and as such, this has just led to an absolute snowball for Weibo as Herald crashes in the mid lane. Turret plates aplenty as Xiaohu and Wei become the benefactors of that one. As we watch this play again, it just looks so good at the start. 4 members of BLG here diving headfirst into just the Belveth. The Blast Cone almost was denied by the control ward, but in the end, somehow the Belveth escapes, and then BLG overchase, and that allows for the Shy to collapse in and just flame spitter him to death. It's a clean execute in the follow-up. Obviously, not very clean to start off with, as topside, an overheated Rumble gets another kill. The Shy is on a rampage. This game is out of control. Weibo, happy with how this is going. They're going to get themselves their first Drake of the game. Both the Drakes are probably the best Drakes you want to see first, as we're going to be getting an impactful soul, regardless of what appears after this one. And it's going to be infernal. So, a lot more burst damage. Honestly, Weibo are kind of happy about that, if they're able to get that one for themselves. 20 seconds until the Herald spawns yet again. I think we'll start to see a transition up the map by the LPL 4th seed, as, let's be honest, this Rumble is kind of a hard thing to deal with. I didn't even know he was that far ahead in terms of lane economy, but damn. He's doing good for himself as it stands. The Shy kind of is very hard to match in side lanes, and he took his reset. I believe he'll be resetting here, or just roaming up to the top half of the map so that if a Herald contest comes through, he's able to match it. But with where everyone on BLG side map is, with the fact that Shun is sat in the bot lane, the Herald's uncontested, and that's surprising that you're giving over 2 Void Remora buffs to waiters. Oh god, the Shy catches on, trying to get some vision down. That's a huge play. As top side, it looks like this Aatrox can be caught out as a Pop Blossom and Milio ultimate time together. Get the full burst combo down as Light secures the kill onto Bin. This is going to be top lane pressure coming out from Weibo. However, it's responded to by Elk and also Yagao coming up now. Weibo not going to overstep, going to back away here. We just take stock of how this game is going. We've already said it, the Shy is unmatchable in bot lane. You're not going to be dealing with him. This Aatrox is so far behind. Like 3k gold in an isolated matchup. There's the possibilities of a dive, an over-committal play from BLG. Shy's just going to use the equalizer, kill off the minions, force the engage, the cease and desist comes through, the scatter a weak land, but they get the shutdown regardless. TP comes through, and that's the Nico. Presumably got the cozy campfire on her. I presume that was why we saw the arrows pointing there. But as it looked there, that was a good play from BLG. They didn't lose anything on the other side of Rift, and they got a massive shutdown. It's a little unfortunate that the Aatrox is still quite far behind and wasn't involved in that, because you would realistically love for him to get some of the gold back that he has lost out on. He's only got for himself more Malmortius, I believe. No, he hadn't even got that. It's a Hex Drinker. He's on components comparative to this Rumble, who is probably going to pick up his second item anytime soon. He's closing in on that state of the game, and that second item looks to be Demonic Embrace. He hasn't gone for Zhonya's, I don't think, because I would have expected the stopwatch in the inventory. But yeah, Weibo trying to continue to be aggressive as Yagao force a flash, the equalizer drop down, the Night Harvester ticking away at that health bar. That's going to force BLG off of the play, as I'm somehow dropping frames. Okay, never mind. What is happening? Why am I dropping frames? I'm just going to do something real quick. Give me a second. Bang. Hi. There we go. What is happening? Why am I dropping frames? It's the real question. Hang on a minute. Right. Shut that one down. I'm really confused why my frames are dropping still. Hang on. Give me a couple minutes to sort this. Why are frames? I'm defending myself from my bullies. I don't want to have to hurt you. Okay, so that was weird. I think I fixed the issue. I don't know what it was. But back into game we go. That was awkward. To say the least, but I'm going to rewind a couple of seconds. So, this is just after the equalizer was dropped onto Yagao's head. The Herald secures this bot lane tier 2. And on is isolated, caught out, pop blossomed, and down. As BLG cannot contain Weibo at this stage of the game. The Herald should be able to crash into this tier 2. In fact, it will. Not going to be killed off before it lands. As TP invested by BLG, trying to protect their assets, to say the least, as a Shy. Stepping forward, the Milio shielding coming through, protecting him. Allowing for these aggressive trades now as the Moonlight Vigil chucked out. Going to do a little bit more chunk damage down onto BLG as the flank possibly coming out from Shun. Going to be ran down though as the Shirelia's popped by Weibo. Turret in the bot lane falls. The Shy going to be benefactor of that one. Yagao did have TP, so could have honestly looked for a TP flank play there. But Weibo not going to invest into it. Not going to overstay, and in fact, they're just going to clear out that jungle. They know that 40 seconds is when the next Drake, well, the Herald's, the Baron spawns, and the Drake's up and available now, so they're going to go contest that right for themselves. Looking where the Vi is on the top half of the map as well. There's no contest here, and this should be a Weibo objective, which is huge because this should allow for a lot more aggression from them, a bit more damage coming out from their burst, and this is a huge pickup for them. 2 Drakes in for themselves, looking to get on Soul Point in 5 minutes. While BLG, kind of a force to farm. They're in a bit of a situation that they've fallen behind a Snort balling comp that will be looking to continue their roly-poly-oly of just mass amounts of damage. And it's a bit unfortunate that this Rumble sits 5-1-0. The most kills on anyone in this game, and he's been doing a lot of work for his team. The Shy basically is carrying Weibo here, as he's managed to catch out targets in the right times. Finally, a completed item for the Aatrox versus the 2 and a void state. Half a void stat for the Shy. Oh god. It's been a top lane massacre. And Weibo know it. They've got full vision control apart from one ward in the back of the pit around this Baron. So the possibilities of force coming out from them is pretty close, to say the least. I think we'll probably end up seeing that as a possible play, because Weibo as a whole are a typical team from the LPL where they do have patience in some regards. They need to force, they need to make these big plays in order to balloon their advantage. And that's the thing with this sort of comp. Once they get ahead, sure, they can be very destructive. But the issue is, in a snowball, you need to keep the momentum going and continuing to go forward. That's why I think that they're going to force. It's obvious. And they're onto the objective. Shun is in the area. He's also got Syndra there, so the burst potential out from BLG is a possibility. But that's going to be the route onto Elk. Going to be taken quite low. We haven't actually had to say much about the BLG ADC. He's been very quiet in this game. But Weibo, they've not been. They've been trying to force plays. And they're looking for one here as the Scatter Weak tags onto this Belveth. She's just able to stay up close and personal for quite a bit of time. The Milio keeping her top. The Baron started off once again, You've got Xiaohu on this Nico trying to push them away. The Moonlight Vigil misses. That's probably the disengage button out from Weibo. With the Shy taking up his big burst damage as the Vi gets caught. The equalizer dropped. That's going to be the first kill of the fight. Over to Weibo. They've done enough here. The jungler's down. BLG cannot contest this Baron. Weibo are going back to the objective. And this should be a pretty easy pickup for the Chinese team. Simple as it comes. Easy as you like. What more can I say than blue team getting the big purple buff? Simple as that. Weibo, they see the Vi. The tag from the Rumble E slows down Shun. It allows for the W from the Belveth to land. That's just a clean pick-off. No escape route given to the jungler of BLG. And as such, he gets killed off by, essentially, I don't even know who picked up the kill. I think it was the Belveth. Oh well. Regardless of that, purple buff secured. Baron buff secured for Weibo. Gonna use this to push through to the next Drake. 50 seconds roughly on that one. And as it stands, Soul Point more than kind of confirmed at this stage for Weibo. Unless they get miraculously picked off in their push. As are the Belveth Void Remora push. Just is an absolute nightmare to deal with. She just has to stand in the area and more spawn. But the equalizer dropped down. That's caught Elk out. Forced the Featherstorm out. He hasn't pulled them back yet. As a flash forward comes from Knight. He's killed off his opposite member. And it's going to be a full-blown fight in the mid lane that Weibo are unwavering in. They pick up 2 kills, make that 3. And they get to continue their onslaught in game number 1. Drake's now going to probably go over if this push isn't the finale one. The Void Remora coming through as the flash forward lands. They get on top of Yagao and he's killed off by the Rumble. Once again, Weibo continuing to apply this pressure, continuing to push. This game is actually going to be over. Who cares about Soul? Who cares about the Drakes? The Void Remora push going to continue. They're getting big waves stacked up. Weiwei just allowing them to get onto this Baron buffed up wave, and that's just an insane sentence there, to be honest. I need more coffee in my system. As they're not going to overstep here, Weibo. Going to retreat back, reset, go towards this Drake. As we watch this play again, the path's known. They clear out a ward, and Elk just walks straight through a pathway that's so obvious that the Shy just drops the equalizer down. Then it's just really aggressive plays out from this Aphelios Light, flashing forward to kill off his opposite member once Featherstorm is down. Then Weibo just aced them across the rift in a staggered sort of way. Now they get the Drake. Soul point secured. However, I don't think we'll see Soul, as the equalizer drop from range isn't going to land up onto this Aatrox, but Ben, he's being ran down. More and more members of Weibo show up. And Xiaohu is the benefactor of the kill as mid. Shun hunting Weiwei. The Void Remora still being created, and that's just going to be a wave given up by Weibo. They're going to just, however, continue to push the top side. They see the only remaining inhibitor on the map is in that top lane, as Milio going to be flashed upon, caught out and bursted. Crisp has fallen, but can Shun survive this? He uses Smite to slow down the Belveth. He dodges out from the W and he's able to get out alive. Good pick out from BLG to get something back onto their carries. That's a big play. As benefactor of that kill was Yagao. Kind of an impressive thing to see. I've just seen the kill score 13-3. That's pretty nuts. And you realize 2 of the kills are on Yagao and 1's on. So it's very inconsequential where the kills are, and it's kind of sad if you look at this BLG comp in this game. Elk's really done nothing. He's kind of been kept quiet, subdued by the opposition. Comparative to Light, who's flashing aggressively to try and get kills for himself. Because let's be honest, he's just received the benefits of having the Shy being blown up ahead, who's kind of translated it down into the jungle and down through the rest of the lanes. It's just a snowballing effect of leads gained by Weibo, even if it's quite obvious that it's all generated in top lane. But yeah, BLG kind of looked very quiet, very subdued in this game as a TP gonna come through. Possibilities of a counterplay. The Q misses from Shun, but the flash out from Neeko keeps him alive. The Pot Blossom gonna go wide, and now the fight looks to get... What is that damage? Down goes the buy to Neeko. Insane amounts of damage as the Belveth gets on the backside, looking to kill off the rest of BLG. Elk forced to retreat and leave his team to death. That's going to be bin down. That's going to be the entirety of BLG falling if Weiwei has his way. He's going to miss out on W, and that's just Elk getting possibly a kill? No! He will not get it as Millia will rise in time to keep his jungler alive. And that's game number 1 in the books as Weibo secure the victory. I would say simple and clean as you like out from the LPL 4th seed, but there were little hints of throws there. That last TP could have been the way back in for BLG, but a misplay yet again out from arguably Shun allowed for Weibo to just clear up the fight easy as you like. The comps both had clear outcomes, both had clear goals they wanted to achieve, but only one goal could ever be achieved, and the snowball happened. Weibo produced an easy game 1. Very little could be done from BLG on their side in terms of how that game went. But we're going to go into game 2 as our GOL look at it. We'll be doing game 4 on GOL. But game 2, let's get into pick and ban. As it stands, red side is where Weibo end up. BLG are on blue. And you're going to notice a trend. Blue side dominance. If you start on blue side, chances are you're going to win this series. And Weibo were the team to do so. No team in this series won on red. And that's kind of an impressive stat, to say the least, because clearly there's something good about blue side. As here we see BLG winning game number 2. The drafts took a bit of a turn. Obviously, Xayah made its way through both pick and ban phases without being touched. Elk, after a very quiet game 1, probably didn't feel comfortable playing something he couldn't be aggressive on. Xayah, while safe, doesn't get as much aggression on. You rely on the enemies chasing or over chasing into you and getting the feathers pulled back into them to do mass amounts of damage. That's how Xayah tends to play. So with a comp that kind of does all the aggression, the diving forward, that you necessarily can't get that sort of same output that you would like with a comp that's more so burst front to back. Kind of what Weibo had, you would kind of expect for the Xayah to fit in more on their comp side. But game 2, the drafts change up quite a bit. Aatrox's priority goes over to Weibo as Jax goes into BLG's hands. Obviously that was banned in game number 1. The bans Neeko hitting it instead of being allowed through, as Weibo obviously showed some control on the pick. I wouldn't say it was the most impressive pick for Weibo. Clearly the Rumble, which was banned out here, was. And looking at how game 2 went based on this sort of pick ban phase, or this screen to be exact, BLG just popped off across the rift. And while Xiaohu found a lot of kills and a lot of like aggression with that Azir, you look at the actual upfront damage for Weibo, you're kind of relying on Light to hit the massive headshots and burst damage. But in this game, well, sure, he went 2-3-2. He was outshone by a bot lane that had 10 kills in total compared to the 2 on Weibo's side. And it's coming down to this Hail of Blades bot lane, I think, is where we should focus our attention to. If essentially, Ashe is very broken. And both bot lanes kind of want to just secure push for either side. It's two very strong sieging bot lanes. However, Ashe Varus always tends to beat out the Caitlyn Lux because Ashe's ability to root at level 6 with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow outweighs the rooting that the Lightbinder can do from Lux, because it's a slightly longer stun. You also have a little bit more damage with it, as well as the fact that you have the constant pressure and the slows from your built up threaded volley and your Qs. I forget what the name of the Q is, but it's like Ice Arrow or something like that. But as for the Varus, he's a similar sort of play style as the Ashe. You try to build up auto attacks onto the opponent, get you 3 stacks on them, you burst them out with a big arrow. And looking at the build, it's the more so lethality build out from Elk. I tend to forget that Ghostblade is actually a mythic item now. So he's gone for the Speedy Boy build. It's also Radiant Virtue Ashe. I like that build, to be honest, because Ashe's arrow gets fired out quite a lot. So you are going to be able to get extra healing. You're also able to provide a little bit more strength to the team. And I'm looking at the rest of the comp for BLG. Obviously, the Silas has plenty of good ults to steal there. If he wants to go for the Shimmy Shake, he can still weigh in his Azir ult. You've also got the Maokai ult you can steal. Caitlyn ult if you just want to go for the outright harass. Similar sort of story with Lux ult. But Lux ult comparative, obviously, Crisp has very little AP in that build. In fact, he's not gone for the Lunseko-esque build that you would see. He's gone for Shirelia's. Whereas Silas is full AP burst. Yeah, so if that ult gets stolen, kind of unexpected the damage, because obviously you're expecting it to be the Lux laser for your team. You don't expect it to just delete half your health bar. That's a clean sweep of objectives, isn't it? This just looks like a clean snowball from game 2. Damage, yeah. Yeah, I expect that. Full lethality Varus does that with the arrows. Oh god. Nothing out of the ordinary here in game number 2. I spotted game 3. Simple as that. I should also do that, do this, and then skip through the Asta introductions, then find specimens of into draft we go. Already into the ban phase. Jax, Jarvan, Rumble, Ori banned out by either team. Obviously, they've seen 2 games of strong picks. Jax not allowed through this time. Jarvan has been a mainstay on ban phase. Same story with Ori. Rakan hitting yet again. This has kind of been the Weibo sort of ban line. As Nico, this time going to be banned out by BLG, not allowing that first pick through. This does leave, though, the likes of the Maokai. You've also got the Azir. There's some good options here for Weibo to pick up first. But what will that pickup be? Typically speaking, we are more than likely going to see a strong ADC come through. And it's going to be the Ashe. Now, the thing about Ashe is the ability to flex her between ADC and support. Weibo realized that Chris can obviously play this pick. He can also not play this pick, play something like a Heimerdinger, something more so in the defensive playstyle, the engage options to go alongside a Braum maybe. Something that can just stick onto a target alongside the Ashe is a possibility. So BLG are kind of having to force a response that's a little bit awkward. And I'm actually surprised that they opt into picking Kalista here. Ashe is a considered counter to Kalista. So the fact that they're opting into this matchup is insane. Weibo hovering another counter to Kalista with the Poppy. And it's also a counter to the Vi. I like this pickup if they go for it. There you go. It's locked in. They're also going to drop in the Varus. So they're stealing away BLG's bot lane from game number 2. I love it for them. I really do. It works out. As Caitlyn comes through for BLG, double ADCs across both teams. The reason I wanted to break down game 3 is purely for these bot lanes. Caitlyn Kalista is insane. Because I'm pretty sure it's Kalista support, Caitlyn ADC. I'm not sure how this bot lane works. It's a carrier sort of pick, the Kalista, because he has certainly played that. I'm so confused as Seraphine in the crowd. I'm so happy to see a Seraphine. Ubu. My favourite champion, if you didn't know. Hence why there's a massive poster of her. Banphase, numero 2 comes through. Silas, Talia, both mid laners being targeted out here. Unsurprising to say the least. Azir is left up and available. I wouldn't be surprised if that does get banned out here. It should be banned out already, to say the least. It's a big pick that will set up a lot of the comps, honestly. There we go. BLG realized the issue of that pick and ban it out. To be honest, I wouldn't have been... Actually, no, I am surprised. They're the ones who banned it out. Because, sure, the Poppy can steadfast presence you as you slide and glide. But when that ulti is... Well, when that W is down on the Poppy, you can get in on top of the Varus and the Ashe. Push them into your carries and just burst them out. You've got slight range advantage with the Caitlyn. But yeah, that's going to be an insane ban out from BLG as another mid laner gets banned out by Weibo. Ari hits the ban phase. That does leave Syndra up and available. What other mid lane picks are left up and available? Lissandra, I guess? LeBlanc? To name a couple. Tristana, if you're feeling spicy and go a triple ADC comp. I highly doubt it. But as it stands, BLG heavily invested into AD here. They need something AP in that mid lane. What it's going to be, I'm not sure, as a Graves gets dropped. I was joking about triple ADC, but Graves used to be a big ADC pick. This is insanity because we haven't seen it at all at this World Championships. The farm-heavy jungler is a surprise one to Sabo, who presumably will play this in the jungle and Poppy top. I'm not entirely sure though, as the draft gets rounded out. I'm dropping frames once again, excuse me, while I fix this. Okay, I'm no longer dropping frames. Why was I dropping frames? It's weird, my PC just decides to drop frames randomly. Anyway, here we go. Drafts rounded out. Akali for Yagao. I expected this. I expected a Melee-esque pick for him. He's known for him. It's been his bread and butter throughout his time here at Worlds, as well as back at MSI, playing the more so frontline-ish mid lane picks. we were saying that BLG needed some form of AP, and Akali, with the amount of burst she's able to put down, is the epitome of AP mids. Now, it's going to have a bit of a difficult matchup into Syndra, which is a skill-based matchup. You're going to be having to dodge out from the scatter and weaks, but as a whole, it should come down to which team's bot lane can get ahead first. I'm back to dropping frames. My connection is so unstable. It's awkward. I need to understand what's going on. But essentially, I have no clue. Yeah. This is weird. But it looks to have kind of smoothed out a little bit. I'm assuming, so I apologize for that. There's on live, BLG going aggressive early, getting the ward down onto the red buff. Ward not spotted by Weibo, though they're probably aware of the play coming out from BLG. They knew that the jungle was present. The ward should probably get cleared out. Ashe does have a sweeper, so they're able to clear that one for themselves. As back to topside, go BLG to start off the game. They're not allowing an early invade, and as such, the game state starts off even, though the start of the jungle path is a little known. If Weibo decide to go for the play, as once again, both teams gonna be forcing an issue. Weibo gonna try and steal away some BLG jungle. There's deep wards coming through. That's the Poppy starting on Wolf Camp. Just gonna take the entirety of the BLG bottom half of the map. They're trying to split map. This is a huge play coming out from Weibo. They realize that the bot side is the most impactful lane. So the realistic thing for them to do is split maps, use the Poppy, just clear through the jungle, not allow any form of play down to the bot lane for Shun, and as such, it puts BLG in an awkward situation where their bot lane should realistically be playing with a little bit more respect, forced to play back more so than anything, as Yagao getting bursted here by Xiaohu. Kind of a standard thing to see in a melee range matchup. Shun. Now this is surprising he didn't take the split map. He's looking to steal away the Poppy jungle. Deny that, and then he can honestly go for the more aggressive play. But this Vi is getting nothing done on the Rift. He knows that his Gromp wasn't taken, so he's just going to take that for himself. This seems like a bit of an issue, a bit of a misplay out from the Vi, falling behind even more. Because now, essentially, Weiwei's going to have cleared 3 quadrants of the jungle, 3 of the 4, and Shun's only going to get the 1. So, as it stands, Weibo happy with the early game as Yagao takes a lot of damage in the mid lane. Xiaohu heavily trading into him. As more trades come down in the bot lane, the push secured by this Caitlyn Kalista. Obviously, the extra range that Caitlyn has allows for her to harass down into this bot lane a little bit easier. As a possible dive going to come through here. Shun hovering, protecting his bot lane, which we haven't really discussed, but it's Caitlyn's support. So it's Spell Thieves, the equivalent, the AD one, whatever it's called, 4 on. So you could possibly get more damage down. He's just looking to get these heavy trades in on the opponent. Caitlyn, obviously, with the headshot, going to be able to do a lot of damage, but I'm intrigued what build he goes with this Caitlyn, because it's not exactly a standard champion to see in a support role. Because sure, you do have a good siege. You have a great headshot amount of damage. But like, how do you siege? How do you play with this as Elk takes a lot of damage? Chris also taking a similar sort of trade. But bot side staying alive. All the biscuits now gone off of this virus. So that push-in can be a little bit harder for Weibo, as they're going to be susceptible to a lot of damage from this Caitlyn now, as Infernal Drake spawns onto the Rift for game number 3. And a similar story to game 2, BLG securing the Drakes for themselves, putting their attention to this objective, trying to get some semblance of control on the Rift. And being able to pull Weibo to this objective when it comes time, with Soul being such a big thing to get. I'm also noticing their potential at killing Baron is huge. It's double Halo Blaze and bot lanes, jeez. But essentially, the fact that you've got Kalista with the Rend and the Vi with Smite, killing objectives is so goddamn easy for them that they could what was happening with the cameras there, they're just constantly switching. But essentially, they could go for a play as topside. Well, then they're going to be used here by the Aatrox, who's just taken a massive trade into the Shy. He's just standing there, shooting you. That's an issue to deal with, as Poppy makes her way to the top lane. Been forced off this tower, going to allow turret plates possibly going over to the Shy. He's already got one off of his play so far. And with it, Weiwei is just able to free farm jungle. I'm actually surprised that Shun has been able to keep up in camps. But god damn, this Poppy is very effective. I'm not even sure she's cleared out her top quadrant yet. I'm assuming he's thinking that Shun full cleared and took the blue buff, but they met each other in the jungle, so he would notice that. I'm pretty sure the Poppy has not taken a top jungle. That's just my thought process here, because that blue buff probably is level 1. But yeah, this is a kind of a fumble from Weiwei, who did manage to get an early jungle clear that was stupidly effective. It's just being punished sort of unknowingly by BLG, as more time invested here by the Poppy allows for the Vi to catch up in CS, and she's actually taking the lead in that regard. Finally, Weiwei leaves the bot lane as alone and gets to kind of go back to farming. What is happening with them cameras? They're constantly trading, changing through each other. It's awkward. But Scuttle gonna be secured by Weibo in the bot lane. 2 minutes until Drake, so that will be a factor you have to feel in terms of how BLG set up for it. And who knows, maybe they give it up. But Herald is on the table. I did it again. I called it the wrong objective. You should just crucify me. But yeah, essentially Herald is on the table. This Graves having constant pressure applied onto the Aatrox means that it's going to be very hard for BLG to kind of force a contest, as the Shy is just being an absolute demon in this top lane. The constant push that Graves can apply with how effective his minion clears are, the fact that each auto is basically an AoE attack, means that the wave just gets killed off pretty easily. There's no real matchup there for Weibo. And as a whole, it's a very easy sort of place for the Shy to be. Now, we pan up to the Herald. Actually is started by BLG, but the Shy's here. He's going to force out the Vi from the pit. Weiwei is here as well, It's looking to be a 3v3 for this objective. Make it a 4v4 as another member of Weibo shows up. It's going to be Chris. His presence is noted, but the row has been matched. This is 5 members of BLG in the area as the... What? There's the enchanted crystal arrow coming through. That's going to stun on the target. The Herald is secure, but Ikali gets first blood. Yagao on the continued chase, but the unleashed power forces the flash out. Yagao incredibly low. And now BLG get out of that with first blood. A lot of summoners burnt there, but they do get a nice injection of 400 gold. Similar story for Weibo, who secured the Herald. They're happy with that one. Ace in the hole. Gonna be used. Who cares? That pilt over Peacemaker. What? Who did the... It lands onto the Akali, right? No. What? Could someone explain to me what happened there? It's insane. So, level 6. I mean, it's Caitlyn who's ejected. We know that. She goes over the... Does she buffer it with her E? Because I'm just watching the minimap. And then she's like, ta-da! What? I really can't figure it out. But Honor should have been launched out. Unless it's a massive... It's Fate's call. That's insane. I was confused because we saw on live her getting pulled back in over here. I'm like, how? But because we don't actually see the Fate's call like animation of her being launched out, essentially, she just gets to stay here free with safety. Well, this is a great secure for Weiwei, and he gets the objective. Yagao just is able to stick on him and just burst him out. Steadfast presence wasn't even a factor needed. It was very close. A heal kept him alive. The heal's on. So on. So the fact that he didn't get launched out due to the Fate's call meant that essentially he was able to keep Yagao alive. That's a huge play out from BLG, and I'm giving credit over to Weld. He was the guy that did that. So as a whole, great plays coming out from BLG to kind of mount a form of control in the game. But top side's an issue. A big issue. Graves has his first item, Stormrazor secured, versus quite a few longswords for this Aatrox, who is just being bullied outright. The Shy free farming on that tower, gonna get another plate off of this, and he's already got his boots. Both have their boots, so they rush them. This trade in the mid lane clearly has been won out by Weibo here, who are able to push in for this tier 1. Top side, I think Carol's coming. I think Weibo want to give more gold over to this Graves. Already built up a bounty off of his lane aggression. And what do you know, Weiwei's here, Harold's dropped. This should be a tower falling. It's low enough. And there you go. The Shy going to be getting some gold in his back pocket thanks to his aggression in the top lane. I was going to make a reference to Vince McMahon and say, ruthless aggression. But, you know, that's a step out of the League of Legends realm. But, bot side, just taking a look in. I mean, there's nothing too exciting happening. Weibo have kind of had to give up pressure as essentially that can keep happening. Cooldown on it is a very low one compared to other ultimates. It's a similar story with the Ashel. They're both incredibly low ult cooldowns, so they're going to be fired out as and when. It's lethality, so Umbral Glaive probably going to be picked up by both the supports. I guess you want to get the vision control, that sort of game. Kind of the big way to go, as Wei constantly looking to apply pressure. That's the world ender use. The Shy going aggressive. Not going to use his Buster Shot, as the Ash Arrow going to land cleansed by Elk to stay alive. The bot side, though, is still being pushed in by BLG. They're happy with how this is going. Surely you force the burn summoner there. But BLG, they maintain control of the bottom half of the map. And while they're giving up a lot on the top side, this tier 2 is what Weibo are trying to get. The Shy has been untouched, unmatched as Elk. It's not Elk, it's the Aatrox. It's been. He's caught out, forced the flash away. Weibo still able to apply pressure. Gao shows up topside. He's pushed in mid, but it's too late. It's too little, and the tier 2 falls. Weibo pushing an advantage from the top lane. And what can BLG to do to match it? Very little has been done. They're not able to pick up the last plates in the bot lane because they'd already fallen as that tower falls. But BLG, look what they're having to deal with. The Graves, he's just shooting this tower down. As soon as he shows up, BLG back off. And there's not much needs to be said other than that. The Shy having a monstrous performance on this Graves. And he's really stepping up for his team here in this series. What you can do to kill off this Graves is very little at this point, as he's just able to aggressively trade in to whomever he's against, and that's a bit of an issue for BLG. Your solo laners are very close range, and I'm actually amazed that Xiaohu has a gold advantage, considering First Blood went over to the Akali as he enchanted Crystal Arrow. Forces the flash out from Elk. But yeah, simple as you like. Scatter of the Weak denies the back of your Gao in the Weibo jungle. BLG certainly feeling the pressure here of game 3. The Shy getting aggressive, getting his team some gold now on the map. As where is he? He's just clearing out jungle camps. He's slowing down the game. He's obviously knows he's a jungler at heart with the Graves pick. But yeah, Weibo happy, content with how game number 3 is going. The fact that they're able to just have this Graves constantly be a threat. Honestly, this is a weird thing to suggest, but I'd really like to see Hullbreaker for the Shy, because he's going to be so hard to deal with on sides. You might as well make it a little bit better for yourself as well, as the trap line's laid by BLG. They want to get onto Soul Point here. The Drake fight is a possibility. The Scatter Weak lands. That's going to force the face call out. The Unleashed Power, badly timed to be honest, as it just gets negated by the Callisto. As such, Weibo, they give up this Drake, the ace in the hole, chipping away at Weiwei's health bar. But the mid lane tier 1, this is what Weibo are after. The Herald dropped, they're trying to get it. This is looking like the beginnings of a fight. BLG stepping forward. That's the Akali getting into the backline. The Gao gets in. He's able to do work, but the Shy, he's alive. He's just free firing in. He's already got a double kill. He's slain off the jungler. He actually didn't get a double kill. He killed the mid lane tier 1. The Buster Shot comes through. That's so close to Elk falling. The arrow tags him up, but he isn't going to fall. The Shy, he does work there. He gets a kill to trade it with the BLG kill they got earlier in the game. I've just realized that top bar is wrong. It's not 1 kill to 1. Oh well. So yeah, as we watch this play, Scar weak misses, which means Yagao gets to go in. He sees Xiaohu very low. He just full burst combos it. The flash out from Xiaohu means he's able to stay alive. Then Shun gets in. I thought there was a kill over to BLG there, so that kill bar at the top is correct. It's 1 kill to 1. Kind of surprising that Yagao didn't go like aggressive with the perfect execution onto Xiaohu there to secure another kill for the team. But he plays it smart, plays it safe, gets out. And essentially BLG sit comfy on Soul Point, even though the goal lead sits in favor of Weibo. The Drake stats certainly should mount up to an evenish state. As Weibo, the Shy is just unkillable at this stage. Forcing plays on the side. He's gone Eclipse with his build, so the extra damage is going to be huge. The bot lane tier 1, the play for Weibo, but BLG have set up the flank. They now spot that all Weibo here. Yagao caught. You have to feel the scatter forces him out from the shroud, and that's BLG forced to back away. The trap line being set up, but not going to be able to do much. The ace in hole tanked up by Weiwei. The Sid 1 in the bot lane should fall. You have to feel as over the wall goes Bin. He's looking for a flank. Going to be spotted out and going to be marked up by the Shy. This tier 1 going to fall as the cease and desist comes through. That's going to be, however, the first kill of the fight. It's going over to Weibo, but it's a trade in the end. But Weibo get the tower. The thing they were after goes through. Sure, the gold is even in that regard in terms of the trade, but essentially the more towers that Weibo get, the better it is for them. The closer they get to the Nexus towers, to the fountain, to the Nexus itself. As mid, that's going to be the aggression out from the BLG bot lane, applied onto Light, who missed his... He didn't fire his ultimate. It looked like he fired his ultimate. Oh well. I'm wrong. But yeah. As it stands, we'll watch this play again, never mind. The Varus chains land onto Yagao. Then it just tags up onto the Vi, who's rooted in place. Sure, she tries to force a play herself, but it's just the unleashed power to burst her out, as well as the fact that Weiwei, he's just dead, tanking tower shots regardless. He was dead regardless, so he's just happy to get the trade. And BLG kind of are in a weird situation where you think they're ahead with the Drakes. 40 seconds until Soul. They will be wanting that one. And I think we'll see the game-winning fight coming at that play. Winner will probably get Baron. And that should be how things happen, as Poppy caught out. Shun forces her away. BLG, early setup on the objective. Weibo gonna be forced to run in as the Shy caught out by Yagao. Takes a decent chunk there as the Scatter Weak goes wide. Xiaohu, without his protective spell for a while. The Threaded Volley though gonna slow down BLG, not allow them to come anywhere near Weibo's big death ball. They're grouped as 5. Yagao on the flank. He's known where he is. The wards will spot him. And BLG forcing the objective to scatter weak lands onto Bin. But look at the flank. Yagao keeping Weibo in check. He uses a rocket belt forward, but he gets in on back of the fight. Perfect execution, not able to do much as Light. He slays the jungler of BLG. This should be Drake over to Weibo, and the fight looks to continue on as the chase down going to come through as Weiwei trying to get onto the Caitlyn, but On gets over the wall. But the Shy, he's blood hungry. He gets Yagao, who used everything way too early in that fight, you have to feel. And BLG, they're crumbling in game 3. They give up another Drake. They give over Baron. And Weibo They're cruising to victory number 2 in this series. The Shy stepping up considerably. Vision of the Baron unknown for BLG. They're going to use the ace in the hole to check the pit. They get the control wards in, but there's no smite. There's no secure for BLG. And the objective, Anarchy onto Bin, goes over. And this is a hard situation if you are BLG to play through, as here, On's chunked very low early. Yagao misses his abilities as mid lane. Face call going to be used. Weiwei though, he's got onto Elk. Chunking through the Kallista's health bar is Weibo, who just do so much damage to the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It's going to land onto Yagao, who's going to be locked in place. The Scattered Weak lands, and as soon as you reveal from the Shroud, you die. The Shy gets on a killing spree, and the chase looks to continue through from Weibo. But they're going to give it up. They're going to continue to push the mid lane, their prize, the tier 2 down to tier 3, soon to fall. The inhibitor alongside that. Weibo, they pick off so many crucial targets there that they force abilities. They force essentially mistakes out from BLG, and they are able to punish. That arrow perfect from Crisp to tag on to Yagao, who, let's be honest, isn't finding too much in terms of aggression from his Akali. He's not able to burst out a target like he should be. And now he's on the flank looking for a play, gets on top of this Varus, and the shutdown comes through. That's a big 1-for-1 trade though, as the Kallista trades one back, and the Shy, he's still alive. He's still kicking. The Weibo Death Ball picks up 3 incredibly big kills. No ADC, no fight for BLG. And the ADC trio of Weibo continue to be an absolute menace. While sure, Light and Crisp haven't had the same sort of impact as what the Shy has in this game. They're certainly taking aggro off of the big carries of Weibo. Zhao and the Shy have just been unkillable in this game, and they're popping off. Just keep your eye on the Shy. He starts with Vi, and then he's just like, oh, your backline is wide open. Let me go kill them. He dashes twice, gets onto the Kallista, and Elk has no way to escape. Now he's just in a constant chase down. The Vi isolated off from the rest of their team. Same story with the Aatrox. And as such, it's an easy cleanup from Weibo, as essentially a back to front fight comes through from this Graves to just punish the BLG overextension. And that's the issue with how BLG want to play this game. You're forced to do deep TPs with the Akali to get flanks. Same story with this Aatrox. But the fact is, you're then opening up for essentially this Graves to get onto the backside. Similar story with the Poppy. They want to get into the backline pretty easily. And the fact is, the Poppy having the ability to negate the Kallista is huge. And we don't really talk about it too much in this series, but the smoke screen from Graves also acts as a slow. It means Elk's unable to get the auto attacks down to do the leaps. So, realistically speaking, they hard counter this BLG squad, and they're on blue side. So, the whole ideology of going to red, to start on red for BLG, was to secure counter picks, to secure a better draft versus our opponents. But it hasn't worked out here, as Elk forced to cleanse Flash. This Drake should be given over once again. There should be no way in for BLG. Ace in the hole used, but look at how Xiaohu's playing it. He's just chucking the spears down, not allowing access in. As Aatrox caught on the backside, the pilt over Peacemaker launches the Vi out from the fight. And now BLG are forced to retreat. The aggression coming through from the Shy. Chasing, hunting, but Yagao, he's on the backside. He's trying to get a kill for himself, but he is unable to as Weiwei peels for his ADC. The base of BLG now in tatters as their low health bars will not allow them to escape the Weibo aggression. The Nexus towers are set to fall, and game 3 going over to Weibo once more. Simple as you like. The irony is, we're going to be looking at all 3 Weibo wins and not the BLG ones. That's kind of unfortunate with how we're doing it. Oh well. We need to discuss game 4. Game 4 is a weird one. Boom. Yet again, it's another constant snowball. Kind of a common trend for blue sides we've seen so far. Ashe Heimerdinger with a Quinn is the big story. The Shy went Quinn, which was weird. It's a counter pick to Jax. It's an old school counter pick. That's the big reason. But in this series, in this game specific, wasn't able to punish with it. Jax was able to stay unkilled, to stay relevant, and we have to look at the bot lane. Again, the story revolving around Light and Elk and On and Crisp. As a 7-1-5 Felios paired alongside a 7-1-7 Orianna just were absolute menaces in this game. We talked about the Orianna being banned out every single game by Weibo, but they changed the formula and ban out the Vi in there. Essentially, 4th game, it's a bit of a train job that didn't really need to happen. As we look at damage distribution, that's kind of interesting that the damage favored most of Weibo, but the main places it didn't was the ADC and jungle. While sure, that's a fairly tank v tank matchup, they still provide a similar sort of resources and similar sort of playstyle that it should realistically be that even. But anyway, BLG won game 4. Whoop whoop. Let's get into game 5. The last one in the series. The full 5 games, Silver Scrapes, you name it. How you want to describe game 5. It happens. Weibo head to blue side yet again. Blue side dominance is the story of this game. As the draft begins, Jax, Jarvan, Silas removed by Weibo in this game. Rumble, Ori, probably Nico removed by BLG. If it's not, that's probably first pick, because Weibo went for it first in game 1. Will but they be allowed it yet again in game number 5? Xiaohu known for it, and it's not going to be going through to him. That means that Prios change up yet again, and the Maokai is going to be picked up by Weibo this time. Weiwei going to get his pick in early. Bit surprising. Obviously, Poppy, he found success on in game 3. Could have been coming through if he saw what BLG had. But who knows? As BLG, how do they react? How do they start their draft? They're going for the Jace, a Yagao Special, I feel. He plays it very well, and it's obvious he would go to it. Sejuani coming in as well for Shun. He found success on it in game number 4. Hopefully looking to continue that success in game number 5. Paired alongside this Jace, so he's got the constant aggression and a sort of stack the passive brother. But yeah, Weibo respond in kind. They've gone for the full zone control comp. This is my favorite comp that we've seen so far at Worlds, because it was a G2. This was one of their first drafts, G2, that we watched. You use the Renata ult alongside the Maokai ult, and you have such good control of areas because they're such like long ultimates as well as wide. It basically makes it so hard for teams to get close to you. And already, looking at BLG's comp, the fact that they're melee, it just makes it so goddamn easy for the Renata pick to come through and just slay. Because melee champions tend to hurt a lot more up close and personal. Plus it denies them access in. You don't realise how big of a pick this is. And I think Weibo already have won out this draft with the fact that all three top lane, well, the entirety of the top half of the map for BLG is going to be quite close up close and personal. As for the rest of the draft coming through, Aatrox banned out by BLG. I think we may see a rel ban here from Weibo. Just cause it looks so good into this comp slightly. More so than anything else. It's left up and available. But it's going to be the Ashe. Okie dokie are not going to get his hands on that pick yet again. And now BLG kind of forced to show their hand. How do they want to round out their bot lane? What do they want to go with down there? Now Xayah is technically up. Elk could play on it. Aphelios is up. The 100 years could come through, but it's not going to happen. As Caitlyn, the priority on sieging for BLG is where they're going. I'm surprised by it, to say the least. I would honestly have preferred to have seen the Aphelios for Elk. It's his most known pick. His thing he's found so much success on. But it's not going to happen. And Weibo, they know it. The Shy picks himself an on. This is such a long-range engage comp from BLG, Weibo. Like, how do you get in if you're BLG? It's so hard to deal with. You've got so much. Like, I love this draft. I'm gonna say it. I love it from Weibo. Because you either A, cannot get close to engage, or B, you get run down quickly. That's the story with this Weibo draft. And BLG kind of have fallen prey to it. The fact that the Renata came through just means that everything that BLG have drafted here kind of sucks into it, unfortunately. But the drafts are done. Both teams set for game number 5. Only one can advance to the grand finals of Worlds. The other gets to go home, gets to enjoy an off-season break, if you can call it a joyous thing. No, you went out in semis. But we shall see how it goes. Game 5, everything on the line. Will Weibo advance or will BLG? Only time will tell. As the players prep for game, we get ready to absolutely slay Game 5 right about now. Oh, that's much better. Onto the Rift. We go. A standard fan of 5 from Weibo versus a little bit of a weird setup from BLG. They've kind of gone for a fan of 5, but they're trying to be a bit more aggressive. Weibo immediately warded their Tribrush, thinking that BLG possibly may go aggressive, go for an early invade. It's kind of been the story of game number 3 and 1, was the early invades out from either side, as they typically led to big advantages in the jungle. But we're not seeing it here in game 5. It's just standardized starts. Raptors versus red buff for the junglers. Oh, there we go. I'll wrap myself up warm now. We can look at this game correctly. But, simply put, I want to see early aggression out from BLG. Weibo, happy if this game goes longer. Sure, they've got a very strong early trading pattern in the bot lane with the Kalista and the Renata, but into a Caitlyn Lux is a little bit harder to execute as a whole, so you're going to be forced to play off the wave. I think BLG need to get the ball rolling quick. They fall susceptible to the Ornn late game with his extra scaling prowess in terms of itemization for the team. And you do need to kind of negate Weibo's damage, because once they get online with damage with the Kalista and the Azir, their comp becomes very hard to deal with. And teams who have ever played against a Maokai should know that when he's able to just have a lead, have a lane, or 2 lanes that have aggression, have damage, it's going to be quite hard to essentially deal with Weibo as a whole, because there's so much safety without even drafting essentially safe picks outright for their carries. They've just got the protection there to keep them alive with their kind of extra characters that they've got with the Maokai, the Ornn, and the Renata. But early starts happening near the jungler have kind of interacted with one another, which is a nice sort of change of pace in the previous games. Bottom half of the map, we're just going to see the constant pressure of the Caitlyn Lux. Able to get ahead in CS quite easily. It's just an easier trade with the Lux early on. However, at level 6, I think we will start to see a bit more aggression out from Weibo in the bot lane. I think they'll be able to get a bit better of an execution down onto this Caitlyn and Lux, because they aren't the most slippery of players, as Weiwei spotted in the bot lane, trying to go for a lane gank. Obviously, his position noted. That's going to force BLG off the wave. It's going to allow a little bit of reprieve for Light and Crisp to get a bit of pressure. That being said, Shun able to steal away a camp has been taken quite low. He does get his trade back down, as somehow Xiaohu caught. The slide is not much of a glide, and he gets killed for first blood. I'm intrigued how he gets caught out, because he also wasted his flash as bot side on. He falls. What? What is going on? That would look like a full all out from Weibo in the bot lane. But damn. Presumably, On hit his light binding, like trying to deny backs. And because he does that, the cleanse comes through from the Kalista, and she just trades into him aggressively. Handshake probably lands. Okay, so we get to watch it. Handshake lands. I was thinking it was a cancel on recalls, but it's not. It's just the full combo out from Light to get the kill. And then top side, Zhao, who probably fail flashed. That's the only reason for him to have messed up there. As that wasn't me, by the way, that froze the stream. That was actually the content. Don't worry, your eyes aren't deceiving you. So this is weird. Xiaohu still maintains control of mid, even though he's a kill down, which is kind of impressive. But bot side, we are starting to see the Kalista and the Renata come online, be more aggressive, able to secure a bit more push now, after obviously Caitlyn Lux had control for a considerable amount of time. The CS has kind of rewrited itself, and that's allowed for Weibo to get a bit more control. Sedge in the area possibly could have looked to steal away the scuttle. Will not do so, as the sapling going to spot her and mark her position. Top side, just a nice little trade. Standardized trade patterns. Obviously, aggression out from BLG because the wave's pushing them. Weibo playing respectful, not overstepping, and in fact, this wave's going to get frozen possibly outside of BLG's tower. That's huge for them, because it just denies so much of the Weibo aggression, as they're not able to step up and crash the wave just yet. And I'm looking at what they're highlighting. There's a lot of water for Weibo, so Weiwei can obviously look for an easy gank unnoticed, and he is instead just going to look. He is going to look for the gank. Because the wave got frozen outside the tower, it does allow for Weibo to kind of, if they're able to get the crash, look for a play. Nature's Grass thrown out, the face call used as Renata gets over the wall, gets on top of On. That's going to be another kill. The handshake lands. Kalista flashing forward. Light gets the double kill. Weibo doing work in the early game. We were saying they needed to snowball on BLG's side, but Weibo, they're finding the advantages. They're finding the kills. And BLG, no response. They're not finding anything on the other side of the map. It's here. It's just an Nature's Grasp. Pushing Weibo into an awkward situation. The cleanse comes through from the Caitlyn, but she is not able to escape. The handshake perfect out from Crisp, and it allows for Light to just get the easy double kill. Crisp, clean as you light, and I did make a pun there, as BLG suffer in the bot lane. We've kind of haven't really talked about Elk too much in this series. In the 2 games we watched, he's kind of been very quiet. He's not been able to find an impact in the game, and the reason this is important to note is this guy was known to be probably the most aggressive ADC in the LPL. He always played aggressive. His introduction to the international stage was talking about him being incredibly aggressive, looking to fight constantly. And sure, he was the introduction for me to the Cull as a mainstay item, but he isn't able to find success today, I feel, as Light Binding gonna be dodged there by Weiwei, forced to flash though, and this tower dive that's being set up by BLG, it's buying time for Weibo to get pressure down in the bot lane. That's gonna be the Luxel gonna be forcing the Ornn back off the tower, as Shun hovering, trying to not allow an escape. The Call of Forge God comes through. That's going to be also Nature's Grass used, but that's the CC chain of Weibo depleted. Now the dive can come through from BLG, but the wave, it got killed quickly. And now it's just allowed so much time, so much free time for this Kalista to free hit this bottom tower that it's surely going to fall in the next few minutes. But Cassante, he's arrived. That being said, Weibo haven't backed up. They baited the reset. They're looking for a pick onto Bin, but he's not going to fall prey. And now the wave gets pushed in. The tower, though, the first blood on the towers goes over to BLG. They had the Herald, so they get that for themselves. And BLG kind of content with this somehow, even though it looks quite bad, and it possibly could be Elk caught out. Is able to jump over the wall with his E. The 90 caliber net doing work for him as Weiwei. Not gonna get caught out there. It looked like he could possibly fall, but BLG, they're kind of righting the ship. They gave over 2 kills in the bot lane. They immediately transferred the 2 dead players up to the top lane, and they get themselves a nice injection of gold with the Herald in the back pocket. This is kind of impactful as it allows for BLG to kind of rewrite the ship. It allows for this Caitlyn and Lux to play into this Kalista a little bit easier now. With the gold kind of rewrited, sure, CS is still a difference, and the fact that all the plates were kind of split by BLG into multiple members, whereas the gold was kind of only given over to the Kalista. This does mean that possible plays coming out from Weibo could be a little bit hard now. But with the second Drake up in a minute's time, either side are setting up. They're starting to position down here. Scuttle obviously secured by BLG, so they're going to have a bit of vision control for a while as Ren slows down Elk. He is going to receive the baton from the Lux, keeping a nice shield, keeping him nicely topped up in health as Yagao roams down to the bottom side of the map. BLG, do you want to considerably contest this as they've given up pressure topside, been roamed to mid to not allow essentially Xiaohu to be too aggressive. And BLG, they're playing the map quite well in this game. The roams are being, I wouldn't say the most impactful, but they are being effective in dissuading Weibo aggression, as well as kind of keeping some semblance of control. Now, technically speaking, the gold is quite close, and it's only because of a tower falling that BLG are ahead. But I would say when we see tower plating fall off in 10 seconds, I want to see who has secured the most plates, because I'm pretty sure it's probably very close to Weibo having secured 5 technically. Yeah, only 1 plate's the difference. That's technically the goal lead for BLG, because CS is fairly even across the board. They slightly favour Weibo, except in the top lane. Junglers as a whole haven't really found too much impact on the map. The item difference is there, however, as Demonic Embrace is not completed yet by this Maokai, and that is actually where the gold difference lies. Sejuani up in gold off them turret plates that essentially Weiwei hasn't been involved in. He's just been constantly farming, constantly trying to get kills as well. He did get the 2 assists in the bot lane for himself, but as it stands, there's been really nothing as flash trades coming out from both supports, as the aggression coming out from Weibo is quite immense. The bot lane trying to get themselves kills. It is Umbral Glaive Kalista, which is kind of surprising to see as the first item. Wait, no, it's not. It's Borg. I'm blind. Can you tell? I thought it was Umbral Glaive there, and I've been like, why would you do that? Because you essentially remove jumps for yourself. But hey, Herald is becoming a big prize. Both teams won it. It was started up by BLG, but now Weibo have started securing control of the area. They've got all 5 members up here, but on the bottom half of the map, they're giving over pressure to this Jace. Yagao being the benefactor of a lot of gold, and he will secure himself a tower, the second tower for BLG. And Weibo, they get imperiled. Bear in mind, that does not technically guarantee a tower kill. It just guarantees a bit of damage, a chunk of damage. So the only place it would probably guarantee a tower kill is the bot lane. Whether or not they use it to get that one, only time will tell. Obviously, 2 minutes until the next Drake. Could probably actually see it dropped in the mid lane. To be honest, that is incredibly low now. So, more than likely not, we'll see Maokai bring Herald mid to get pressure in and then allow the possible play as the all-out comes through from the Cassante, trying to trade in. The Call of Forge God gonna be negated, the knock-up not gonna land, and Bin, he goes aggressive, the flamethrower coming out from the Ornn, but he is ran down and the solo bolo goes over to the Cassante. That is a big kill to find with Drake up in 2 minutes. It allows for Weibo to be kind of unable to make plays. The Sejuani ult comes through, but that's hostile takeover. Only finds on, and that's going to allow for a rampage for Light. The chase forward coming through from Weiwei, trying to get on top of the Sejuani. 3 members of Weibo dissuading the BLG aggression, pushing them away from mid lane. It should probably be a trade of towers. As mid lane tower falls for Weibo, they're going to get the mid one of BLG back in return. And while, sure, we see Bin picking up a solo kill in the top lane, it gets immediately traded back by Weibo, who forced the play with their comp. It's a very solid comp in terms of getting targets isolated and killed up. As here, the Nature's Grasp, just utilized effectively. It tags up onto the Sedge, but On still gets hit on the edge of it. And that means he's in a bad situation as the hostile takeover comes through. And he gets rooted and killed off as back to live. The Shy being ran down by 4 members. A TP from Yigao allows for Elk to secure the kill. Adds another punish onto this Ornn, who was quite far forward. Obviously the wave not into the top lane tier 1 just yet for Weibo. So where the Ornn was not very good considering he hasn't got a tower. Now, 30 seconds till this Mountain Drake. Soul point if Weibo secure it. And they're in a bit of a disadvantageous stage because they're going to have to deal with Bin pushing in the side lanes. There's no one going up to respond as Shirelius is popped. It's going to be BLG forcing Weibo back. The Drake is now going to be live in 3 seconds. BLG have had Bin's push responded to as TP's come through, double TP as both top laners join fight. The Nature's Grass comes through as Call Forge God and hostile takeover find the backside. Weiwei over the wall, forcing On out of the play, and look at them health bars though for Weibo. They're incredibly low. The Caitlyn gets the first kill to fight, chasing down the ace in the hole. Chris falls, double kill over to Elk, and now Weibo on the wrong side of the map. Light and Weiwei in a bit of a situation. Xiaohu as well. Yigao gets the kill, rushing forward. Actually will trade it 1 for 1 there and make it a double. Xiaohu making the fight better, but the Caitlyn's still alive and shuts down her counterpart. That's going to be a full wipe in favor of BLG, who shut down the Weibo aggression. And now we're in a situation where the Drake stack is going to be halted. Weibo are going to be having to play more and more on the back foot as here. A great ult from the Lux tags up Light very low, and he's unable to heal up. So as the TPs come through, Bin and Shy take considerably high amounts of damage, but the fact that BLG back away, it allows for the Caitlyn to free fire in a little bit more, and Weibo get corralled into BLG's jungle, so there's no escape. Xiaohu does good here to kind of trade the kills back. He gets 2 for himself, but like in this top half of the fight, Light's forced to make a play onto On, and the Lux uses both spells and gets killed off. The bulk proc comes through, but it's too little too late. Light gets a kill. Us back to life. That's going to be Nature's Grasp tagging up onto the jungler. The full burst combo comes through from Weibo. They catch him out. That's the Emperor's Divide pushing Yagao into a shutdown. And BLG, they lose too. Baron is up. But Weiwei incredibly low. Going to be forced to heal up using the Honey Fruits. And BLG, this could be them giving over the Baron. Weibo, they find the picks. They're onto the objective. It's dropping below half its HP. But what can BLG do to stop it? They kill off Dion. That's Caitlyn going aggressive, is all out on the bottom half of the fight. Catches out the Renata, but Xiaohu, he catches the Caitlyn. The Emperor's Divide don't work. The handshake comes through. BLG get deleted. They picked up such a massive fight early, but it results in them losing kills. Oh, the Luxor almost is able to kill off the Weibo recalling members, but it doesn't find anyone. BLG fumble the bag, and Weibo, they get themselves Baron. Like it or not, Elk doing work here in this game as he just gets caught out. However, he isolates himself from his team. Over aggressive, you may call it. And Xiaohu just gets on top of him and gets the pick. It's just a good play out from the experienced mid laner to just go for the ADC and force the team to kill her. Simple as you like. Now, Weibo back on the front foot. We were saying they were on the back foot. Now they get to apply pressure to the map with the Baron buff. The saplings coming out to control brushes. Weibo finally going to crack the outer turret ring. Breaking through. Now they've got the tier 2s in their sights. Weibo are looking so goddamn good right now. That gold graph, this is the closest it's been all game. The Sedge all going to be negated as Yorn ultimate looking to come through. There you go, Call of Forge God lands. There's the 2-man knockup, but it's actually been taken incredibly low early as no one falls. The damage though from BLG is not enough. Weibo do massive chunks of damage to BLG. The poke coming through, the ace in the hole lands onto Xiaohu, but the TP flank coming through from Bin, he's been spotted. He's looking to run down a target, but Weiwei, he catches him. The all out comes through, but this Maokai somehow still able to stay alive. Bin somehow unable to knock him back into his team. And probably it's a good thing considering how low them health bars are. BLG, they waste their TP play, and they're possibly going to waste their chances of getting the next Drake. Bear in mind, Soul Point the prize for Weibo if they're able to get it for themselves, as big item power spikes coming through for them as Radiant Virtue picked up for the Maokai. We've also got 3 items on Xiaohu's Azir, looking very, very strong at this stage of the game. Caitlyn, though, also on 2 items. I'm actually surprised that the Caitlyn isn't that far ahead in terms of items. In fact, she's slightly behind Callista, who's just been able to silently hit 6 kills. We haven't really talked about Light this game, comparative to Elk, who has found some big picks on his own outright, but essentially Light's kills have been set up by his team. He's been doing work when it comes to fighting around plays. As to the bottom lane we go, Xiaohu securing push. Minions finally going to be crashing into this tower, but Bin clears them away, and it's going to just dissuade any more aggression from Weibo because they see this Drake up and available. Want to secure that for themselves with the Ren plus Smite combination. Shouldn't be any real contest, as that's going to be the Shy forced to TP topside as the Drake falls. Weibo onto Soul Point. Mountain Soul in 5 minutes time will be massive for them, considering how bulky, how beefy their front line is. Young going to really enjoy that, plus Level 14 now. Ornaments will start to come through for his team. You have to feel like probably going to be the benefactor of the first one. And as such, we typically should expect some big damage coming out from this Kalista in the next fight. As Runa's Hurricane picked up. So the more spears landed, the more rend damage. Simple as that. And what's more, I'm presuming Shy is just trying to get onto the Kalista, the upgraded masterwork item. Obviously, you will need level 15 for that, I believe. So, back to the bot lane he goes. In fact, he's trading into Shun, just denying the Scuttle Crab from him. This top side, Yagao could be ran down to Nature's Grasp. Not gonna land. And Yagao gets away safely. Bit of a misplay there from Weiwei. Obviously, he didn't actually have that much backup in response to this team. Presumably, a TP would have come through from Xiaohu if the pick was able to come through, but TPs are left up and available for Weibo. Xiaohu should realistically be the one to stay in the bot side, but the Shy, he's showing on the map. He's got no TP, which means this Baron BLG can force. They can look for it. They can try and secure it. What can Weibo do? The Shy nowhere near. The objective's gonna go over. The all-out comes through from Bin. He pulls away the jungler. And while he's sacrificing his own life, he secures Baron for the team. Light still remains on a massive KDA spree. But BLG, they find the Baron. And possibly some solace back into the game. Still got to deal with this Azir tower though in the mid lane. And now, BLG find some respite. Find some control. Get to apply pressure onto the map. But as it stands, what more needs to be said than Weibo getting sloppy? Bad lane allocations cost them the Baron. It would have been so much better if Xiaohu went bot, because the TP could have come through from him, whereas now the Shy can respond, but he's not. He didn't have the TP then, and as such, Weibo fumble the bag, have to give over so much control on this map to BLG, who are taking it by force. Look how aggressive they're going. Straight into the red buff quadrant. They're getting their wards down. And Weibo doing a good job to clear them out. They know where they are. But as it stands, it's so hard to deal with it. Red buff spawns. Gonna force Weibo to try and contest it. They do manage to secure it with the smite. 50 seconds is up until the next objective. Will Maokai have a smite in time? Has the Cheyenne been trading as they've been doing all throughout this series? Just denying any aggression forward. But Weibo, they've got push. Mid lane tier 2 is their target. On taken quite low. Gonna be tagged by the Sejuani slow. But look at BLG. They're corralling Weibo into their own jungle yet again. The Azir turret placed down. Xiaohu has his crown shield popped. But the push, it's going to be denied. The wave cut. TP comes through. That's going to be Dion rejoining his team using the Azir to kind of tower to give him a route back in. Now, Maokai saplings thrown out. Trying to control the vision back in Weibo's favor. They're walking into the darkness. And they're actually going to be caught out as Weiwei pulled so far away. The twisted events will deny any play. But he is actually executed off by the looks from long range. The Drake, the target, But will it be secured by BLG? No, it will not. The Rend finds its mark and it kills off the Sejuani. Light is so goddamn aggressive with the bailout on him. He gets the double kill. Yagao is unable to team fight because Xiaohu on the top half of the fight kills off his backup, bins down. Azir is unstoppable, and Weibo are on the victory march. This should be the game. 3 members down, 30-second kill timers on them. They're down and out. Weibo on the victory march. The inhibitor to fall. The mid lane cracked open. The Nexus towers in their sights. They're going to get on it. They've got to demolish procs from the Ornn if needed. But the damage coming through. He uses his last shot to kill the tower as Renata secures that one. This second Nexus tower could be falling, but the stopwatch through. That's going to be the Callisto shut down. Weibo's push ended as the Sejuani arrives. And that's the overstep. Good handshake there. But it's not enough. Yagao, he's here again. He got killed off earlier. The bailout used to buy a bit more time. But BLG, they find the fight. They stop the aggression. Xiaohu could be caught out. Weibo, they're down 3 members. The push could come through. The TP back to base works for Xiaohu. He's able to survive, which should stop BLG's push. The wave unable to continue to be forced in by BLG. And while Seoul was secured by Weibo, these fights have been getting closer and closer. BLG, they stalled that game out thanks to a bit too over-aggressive of a Weibo squad going in for the players here. And Nature's Grasp, it's so good it tags onto our Elk, force the cleanse out, and then it's just really hard to deal with. A good route onto the Shy denies the Call of Forge God, but Yagao gets tagged by the hostile takeover, which means all of Elk's health bar just gets deleted by his own team member. Then it's just Weibo over-aggressing into the base. They get one Nexus Tower, sure, but they're unable to get the kills to that are stopping them from pushing. Face Call, while it does save Renata, that light binding so perfect from the Lux, it means that the Callisto was doomed to fall, and while he's just pulled in the target with the Fate's Call, it's so goddamn scary. As we go back to life, that's going to be Shirelia's used by Weibo, looking to chase the Call of Forge God comes through, and they catch out the Lux. Hostile takeover and the Nature's Grasp find the Sejuani. There's no smite for BLG. The Baron is up. But Weibo, they don't need the objective. They've got the victory in their sights. Big, massive death timers on BLG's side. And they're looking to siege. They're pressing forward. The Mountain Soul keeping them healthy as they find the kills. A massive Emperor's Divide puts the Guardian Angel into use for Yagao. But the stopwatches, the timing from BLG is not good enough as Weibo find the fight. They tank up the tower and the Nexus falls as the LPL 4th seed upsets the 2nd, and they advance to the finals to face, spoiler alert, T1. What a series from a team that's been doubted, that shouldn't be in the finals on many people's accord, but they've done it. They stepped up when it matters most. This team was built to be a super team that could never find success during a regular season. They made it to Worlds on the last breath, and they finally show up when it matters most, advancing into the last matchup possible for this season, the World's Finals. The prize so close to them. The Summoners Cup is undoubtedly the closest that Xiaohu has ever been to it. And the Shy, he's returning to a finals for the first time in 5 years. What an incredible achievement for these players. It was his birthday, by the way. I forgot about that bit. But hey, look at the emotion on the fans' faces. The adulation on the players. They've achieved something great here today. And I'm going to be honest, this series, every single game that we watched, apart from the last one, it was very dominant from one side, and that was the blue side. This game, it was close. At times, Weibo looked to have thrown it away, given over so much to BLG, but somehow they found their picks, they found their mark. I say somehow, it was fairly obvious how they did it, because that comp is such a nasty comp to be trying to siege or mark into because of how much control literally this champ, and this champ give. If you shut down one, you've still got to dodge the other two. Simple as that. And Weibo just executed perfectly when it came to the late game. And with it, with my voice dying, we round it out here. I'm going to go full screen me. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed it. It's already dark outside. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new and you want to. See you guys tomorrow for the T1 series.